everyone's different. With your talents and gifting, you are unique in your own way. Don't you mind what people say? So shine your colors bright, shining brighter than ever, and live your best life and do whatever you want. So shake those haters off. You're an eagle so soar and rise above. Shine bright, show all your colors. You're not a carbon copy, so show them what you got. Live a vibrant life, live vibrant with Sandra. Shine bright, show all your colors. You're not a carbon copy, so show them what you got. Live a vibrant life, live vibrant with Sandra.
Hi, and welcome back to Vibrant. We are here with my special guest, Gloria Haywood. She's a licensed marriage and family therapist, and we've been talking about the importance of mental wellness. So come on back in as we're chatting and join us. So Gloria, welcome back.
Thank you.
Welcome back to part
you.
2. I am so enjoying this time with you, just talking about mental health and different things that people are facing and how you're helping them to work through it at your practice, man. What an awesome opportunity to be instrumental in people's wellness.
It is. It really is. It is so very important. Every aspect of it.
Absolutely. So we left off in part 1 just talking about the suicide rate and things that are contributing to it. So I wanted to kind of give our audience some tips on how do you select a therapist? How do you, what criteria do you look for?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, you look at your financial situation.
Okay, that's important.
It's extremely important because when you begin with a therapist, you want to continue.
Sure.
You don't want to start and then can't, complete it.
Uh-huh.
So you look at your financial situation. If you have insurance, find out exactly, how many sessions will they pay for. You prepare for it. You actually prepare.
Okay.
And then what you want to do is there are several places that you can go to, but I would say the very first place is to friends and family.
Okay.
There's nothing like word of mouth, someone that's already been with a particular therapist, and they can tell you exactly how this particular therapist is for them.
Okay.
And so even in doing that, then you can go through psychologytoday.com, and it's just filled with nothing but therapists in your area.
Sure.
And look there, and you know what, I don't know about other people, but if I were looking for a therapist, as I go through Psychology Today and various ones, I think you kind of get a feel.
Okay, you're kind of drawn to
You are
them.
drawn to. There are certain ones that, depending on your personality, there are certain ones that you are totally not drawn to.
Okay.
It could be this look in the picture or whatever, and
or
depending
their
on
profile tells a lot about their areas of specialty, their belief system, their faith, system, and all of that, correct?
Right, but even before you get into all that, just looking at their picture, because most of the clients that I have that have actually went to Psychology Today, they would say it was the look that you had. It reminded me of someone that was kind, someone that I needed to. So those things are important, and I do the same thing.
Okay.
If I was looking for a therapist, I've got to make sure that we're just connecting. Your picture has to look a particular way.
Absolutely.
It sounds like it's trivial, but it's not.
Okay.
Especially let's say you went through abuse.
Right.
You don't want to pick a therapist that looks like that they would not be kind, that they would not understand, that they would not listen. So
from a human perspective, not even just talking about a professional perspective.
Exactly.
I get it.
So you're looking at that, and then as you stated, then you're looking at the specialties, the things that you need. Do they specialize in that? How long have they been doing that particular one?
Okay.
That particular specialty, whatever it may be.
Sure.
So you want to look at that. You also want to kind of check out and see whether or not they work weekends. I mean, these things are important.
Right.
Just in case, you can't go on a weekday.
Because as you said, once you begin, you want that continuity of care.
Right.
Yeah.
And that is extremely important.
Sure.
And so then after you have gone through, let's say, either psychologytoday.com, I am also on therapyforblackgirls.com.
Ooh.
And I've had quite a few clients come through there, because there are some clients that they're black, young black women.
Okay.
They are only interested in dealing with African American women.
Okay.
And so there, and then also I'm also on findamulticulturaltherapist.com. That works for everyone, because we realize that there's some people that we relate to more than others.
Sure.
And so when it comes down to therapy, you're about to unveil the deepest parts of who you are.
Definitely.
And so, you want to make sure that you get someone that you feel
and it's
the
a
most
safe
comfortable.
Space. It's relatable.
Exactly.
All of that.
Exactly.
I understand that.
Yeah. So you want,
because can I just ask, a person's level of comfortability with their therapist has a huge bearing on how deep that therapy can go, and how much they're going to open up, and how much progress is going to be made, is what I'm hearing you say.
Yes, as a matter of fact,
because it's already uncomfortable enough to disrobe.
Right.
So you need at least those elements in place.
And as a matter of fact, research again shows that half of success in therapy isn't necessarily the therapy as much as the relationship with the therapist. And so it has to be a place where there's a lot of relationship. So we got to fit.
Sure.
And so interview.
And then confidentiality is important too, because I can remember reaching out at a time that I was having a difficulty in my life, and I just wanted to bounce some thoughts off of someone who could be objective. They weren't involved in my situation, my circle. I just wanted to bounce these things off, and I found that they disclosed so much about other people that it made me pull back from, because I felt like, would I be the next person that you would be divulging my information? And so that speaks to that feeling of safety and comfortability, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And so those are the main factors. I mean, you want to make sure the credentials are there.
Sure.
Make sure they're licensed.
Sure.
Straight out. Make sure they're licensed, because as long as they're licensed, there is that element of protection through the law.
Okay.
Legally. So you want to make sure that they're licensed. You want to make sure that they have some experience in that particular area as well. My main specialty, is relationships in general. Although I do any type of disorder.
Sure.
I do that. However, my main baby is couples. And so, I let everyone know, from the beginning when it comes down to couples, that, I'm not a novice at that. I've been, it's over 20-something years working with couples.
Absolutely.
And so, and for those that are couples that come in, that helps them to feel comfortable in that regard. It said she knows what she's doing, and she believes in couples.
I'm glad you brought that up, because, we've got history, our relationship, and there's just a couple of things I want to bring out. That you are so passionate about what you do that even before you became a therapist, you were giving this annual breakfast, to foster healthy relationships.
Yes.
So I know what you're saying. And so, and then to toot your horn, because we do know a lot of the same people. I know that you speak to people and you have clients, but never once have you divulged what's gone on in those sessions. And so, it builds a level of trust. Just as your friend, it builds a level of trust that you have those boundaries there, that people can come and they can talk and they can empty out and share in a safe place, and it stays.
Right.
So I just want to say to anybody who, you may that's important to you, not only is she licensed and she's clinical, she's seasoned, she's also integral. Mm-hmm. She's also integral, and so, that's so important. That integrity goes a really long way.
Right.
Because what a person doesn't need is to already be hurting and then be wounded again by hearing something that they've shared, in what they considered a private and confidential setting.
Right.
Really,
and
really important.
The professional standard is the same, do your client no harm.
Right.
So that's not just, medically, but it's also emotionally, physically, psychologically as well.
Sure.
God knows that's deep.
It's really deep.
Yeah.
We're going to take a little break, but I want you to come right back because we have more information that we're going to share on the importance of mental wellness, and you don't want to miss what else our therapist here today, Gloria Haywood, may have to say. So come on back in just a few minutes. Hey there, it's Coach Sandra V. Listen, I wanted to reach out to you because I believe that there may be someone watching this video who you are feeling the need to be heard. I'm an active listener, and as your life coach, I will provide a safe, non-threatening, non-judgmental, sacred space for you to come and share your feelings and share your thoughts. And then from there, we can put together a doable, achievable plan so that we can get you progressing in the right direction according to the life you really want to live. I'm looking forward to working with you. Give me a call and let's get coaching.
Hi, I'm Gloria Haywood of Healing Logos Christian Counseling. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. My specialty is relationships. When I speak of relationships, I'm speaking of all types of relationships. Relationships with yourself, relationships with God, relationships with your neighbors, your parents, with your co-workers, your boss, relationship with your spouses. If you are having any problems whatsoever in your relationships and how you are relating with others, then I invite you to go to my website, healinglogoschristiancounseling.com.
My name is Damon Jones, real estate broker and owner of Purpose Real Estate Company, your commercial and residential real estate specialist. We're also certified with the National Commercial Real Estate Association. Please give us the opportunity to earn your trust when you're ready to purchase, sell, or invest in commercial or residential real estate. Our phone number is 562-688-6279. Visit our website at purposerealestate.com. We'll always follow up with you and stand by our word, because integrity, it's our foundation. We look forward to being of service to you. Thank you.
We have used Damon on real estate transactions for the past 20 years, and without a doubt, he is the best in the business.
Right. So now coming up on our next question, you mentioned that just as we were getting ready for our interview today, you mentioned an app that people can download, and I think you called it Belly Bio.
Yes.
Interactive breathing. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted us to now kind of talk about different self-help tools that people can implement like right away.
Okay.
Like right after watching today,
Okay.
they can implement while they're doing their research on getting a therapist or whatever.
Okay. Well, I think let's start with the breathing.
Okay.
We can go from the breathing to the nutrition,
Sure.
to various things. Well, let's start with the breathing. It is extremely important that we learn how to do deep breathing.
Sure.
If you've ever had one of those little cute puppies, and you know how puppies kind of, I don't know about you, but when you got dogs, and you know how the dogs lay down and then they have their little legs up and their hands up like that, and they go to sleep and you watch the belly rise and fall, rise and fall. Well, that's the same way how when we do the deep breathing, we should be breathing in such a way where the breathing is not coming from here, but it's coming from the diaphragm here. Right, exactly. And so they have one type of breathing, kind of a traditional one. They call it the 4-7-8. And basically what you're doing is that you're inhaling, but in reality you're kind of, well, you have you close your mouth and you're breathing through your nose, but you're breathing here, and the stomach is coming out like that little puppy's stomach.
So it's like you're pushing your abdomen out.
Right. Now, and I know that's kind of interesting because I know
It's
when I
almost
first
the opposite of how we're taught to breathe.
When I first started learning how to do the deep breathing, I'm like, all of my life we were taught, hold that stomach in, hold it in. And
Chest out, stomach in.
stomach in. And now you're telling me to push the stomach out? Oh, no. But you do. That's how you do. You're breathing in your nose, but you're pushing your stomach out as if you are blowing up a balloon.
Got it.
And your stomach, your belly is that balloon. And so you do that on the count of 4. And then you hold it, hold the breath on a count of 7, and then you open your mouth and release it slowly on the count of 8.
Sure.
And I remember when I was in grad school, we were doing that, and it was so interesting because the hardest part of it, I can go ahead and, finally get past my head and push my stomach out. I could do that, and I could hold my breath. But learning how to release it at that count of 8 was more of a challenge.
It's a discipline.
It's
a discipline.
And what I found that when you do that, then what it does is it calms everything within the brain. That's why it's extremely good for anxiety.
Yes.
Because the thing about anxiety is that the body goes into this arousal state, and we get into this fight or flight in our brain.
Right.
Because our brain is getting the message, danger, danger, danger.
Absolutely.
And so
it keeps all our senses on high alert.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so when we began to do the deep breathing, that oxygen goes to our brain.
Sure.
Once the oxygen gets to the brain, now it's giving it a message, safety. Safety. This wasn't danger.
Love it.
And then it causes the body to calm down. So with anxiety, we do that a lot. And if you practice deep breathing just all the time, just 2 or 3 times a day, you're talking about when can I do it? Right now while you're watching this.
At your desk, behind the wheel.
Exactly. And if you do it often enough, then when something comes, it becomes automatic for you.
Sure.
So it's really interesting how deep breathing helps. I tell you what, something else I learned too. I was getting a massage. I love massages.
Yeah.
Girl, I was getting a
Let
massage.
me say, as you're going there, people think a massage is a luxury. It's actually very vital to your overall health and well-being. But go ahead now. That's a good excuse for us to go to the spa.
We know, I know. Afterwards, that's what we're going to do immediately. But I had problems with my leg, and my muscle was hurting, really bad. And I was getting a massage. And so the lady told me, and I was into deep breathing. And she told me, she says, I'm going to press on this part where it's hurting.
Yeah.
And so she says, now I want you to breathe deeply. And when I started taking those deep breaths like that, and it hurt to the touch.
Of course.
But when I started deep breathing like that, all of a sudden, then the pain went away.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, hot dog.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did not realize that for the muscles there as well, I'm concentrating on anxiety. And I didn't realize that for the muscles, that it causes them to relax as well. So we need to do this deep
body
breathing.
tracking is, it's body tracking, and it releases, like the pain of whatever you're feeling is you're releasing that. Because it's all connected.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
Mind,
saying?
body. Exactly.
Yeah. And like you're saying with the anxiety, see, you can hear my voice is elevated because I get excited. But you're talking about the anxiety, the fight and flight, and having our senses on high alert for too long, too often,
causing the stress.
Everything is tensing up.
Right.
And so it's a way of letting it out. And then I learned it to do it at night. In order to go to sleep, when your mind doesn't want to shut down, and then like you're saying with the pain and the body tracking and letting all of that out, and then your thoughts too as you're doing it is releasing the negative thoughts, the toxicity, all of that stuff, man.
Exactly.
That's powerful. That's powerful.
So that's one of the things, the breathing. Nutrition is extremely important. I mean, there are certain things that are really, really great for us to do. The omega-3s.
Yes.
My understanding with the omega-3s, when we make sure that we get that in our body, then it helps with anxiety, it helps with depression, it helps with bipolar. I mean, there are a lot of things, ADHD, it helps with a lot of that. So we have to make sure that, we're getting the omega. Also,
and it's good for your heart.
Definitely, right. Also, tryptophan that's found in turkey.
Okay.
You want to make sure that you have a lot of that in there because that helps to increase your serotonin. There are certain foods that's going to help to increase your serotonin, your norepinephrine, and your dopamine. Okay. And those are like your happy drugs.
Right.
So you want to make sure that, you're getting that food. Dr. Daniel Amen, I highly recommend him. Anything with the brain, and he has cookbooks that have the
so
various
brain food is what we know as brain food.
Right.
Okay.
He does a lot of brain scans that are fantastic because some of the things, and if you really have some serious problems with anxiety or depression or ADHD, when they do the brain scans, he can tell which part of the brain, because we just think of ADHD as one thing or ADD as one thing, but he can tell which part of the brain. Okay. And so it helps to make sure that we are getting the right medication for that particular part.
I love
so everything
concept.
that Dr. Daniel Amen does, get his books, get a book on there. Sure. I would also recommend a book. It's called Blue Genes, Genes.
Okay.
And it's by Dr. Myers of Myers Clinic. Excellent book. Okay. Excellent book that talks about the various moods and how we can use various things, foods and other things
to help to balance it,
right.
Okay.
Exercise is excellent. Huge. You have to have that. Exercise will cause your dopamine and your various hormones to go up higher. Lack of sleep decreases serotonin.
Huge. That's huge.
Yes.
It's not being able to sleep.
Exactly. Yeah. So sleep is good. Have good sleep hygiene. Otherwise, it's going to deplete your serotonin. Right. So, and also walking. Yes. My understanding that walking for people that are depressed, a lot of times is more effective than even more or at least as effective. Right. As the antidepressants. Yeah. So there are some practical things, that we must do. Not we can do, but some practical things that we must do to have, that healthy brain and to have our bodies in a place mentally, emotionally, physically where it needs to be.
And putting the right fuel in. I know people think that a plant-based diet is overrated. Now, I like to eat. I enjoy what I want to eat, but I try to make sure my base is plant-based. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll, splurge with some of the other stuff that I like. Yes. Which I'm fortunate because I do like vegetables and things like that. But it goes a long way. How we fuel our body and our brain, as you're saying, is so important. And then getting that rest, unplugging.
Yes.
You know, relaxing and all of that is so important. And those are things, I like what you're saying too, because walking doesn't cost you anything.
Right.
For someone that doesn't have a huge budget, walking, you know, eating that plant-based diet,
Right.
you know, getting those books, so much you can download now.
Right.
You know, so a person can start wherever they are.
Right. You know, I was at a meeting and I was talking to a doctor friend of mine, and she told us she used to be a surgeon, ear, nose, and throat surgeon, and so now she's really with NAMI, the National Alliance for Mental Illness, and she's really into all of these herbs and eating right and the whole bit. She's fantastic. But the thing that she told us when we were sitting to dinner, she said plant-based when you said that. She said that's where you want to go. And she was saying, you know, get some asparagus. She said people got this, that, and the other. She was naming these various disorders. She says all you got to do is get you some asparagus and some, you know, some other plant-based foods.
Absolutely.
She says it takes care
It does.
of all of that type
It really
of stuff.
does. It does.
And so we're headed, the trend, we're headed toward more nutrition,
holistic,
very holistic,
treatments,
and more nutritional type values, and putting this all together, because we finally get it that all of this is just one body.
It's all connected. It's
Yes.
all connected. And
Yes.
it's so important that we take care of our total wellness.
Right.
You know, so, you know, eating right, the diet, the exercise, the getting the proper rest, all that's huge.
Right.
Our social life is important because, like you were saying earlier, just laughter. You know,
Right.
all
Releases
these
a lot of dopamine.
Yeah, it
That's
really does. And so there's just natural things that we can do to aid ourselves.
Yes.
You know, so that we're not getting hooked on some of the coping mechanisms
Right.
that we're seeing people get caught up on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And again, I want to thank you so much for your
Oh,
time.
you're welcome. I appreciate
We
the offer.
so appreciate you coming and sharing and being so generous, you know, with the information that you've given out. And I just admire your passion for helping people in their journey of wellness. So thank you so much. We wish the absolute best for your practice. And just looking forward to the future and what God is going to do. And we hope that at some point you'll come on again.
Okay, just invite me. You got
Yes.
the number.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
God bless.
God bless you.
So listen, we're going to sign off, but we've been running Gloria Haywood's commercial. And so check her commercial out. It has all of her contact information there. Healing Logos Christian Counseling Center. Reach out and don't suffer in silence. And as I always say, you were not created to be a carbon copy. So let your unique shine. And we'll see you here again real soon on Vibrant.
And live your best life and do whatever you want. Shake those haters off. You're a nigga so and rise above. Shine bright, show all your colors. You're not a carbon copy, so show 'em what you shine.